Hi everyone and welcome to Easy Learning. I am extremely happy to announce that I have started designing and selling resources related to ABA and speech therapy, and these includes flashcards, worksheets, data sheets, Sensi toys and much more. I have shared the WhatsApp catalog link in the description below. So you can buy or inquire about it. You can also visit my website or you can visit our Daraz store. Coming back to our video, today I am going to talk about how to use flashcards effectively. So I am going to use some of the flashcards here, and these are of different sets, but I am going to talk about how you can use them effectively. Now please know that using flashcards is different than PECS, which is Picture Exchange Communication System. Basically, PECS helps in teaching initiation through physical exchange of cards. Meanwhile, flashcards are a general way for teaching, for memorization, labeling and more. So PECS follows a 6-phase structure. Meanwhile, for the flashcards, you don't need to have any specific sequence or structure, but yeah, having a basic idea or outline about how you can proceed to use the flashcard would be useful. Now we are seeing the use of flashcards. So I usually have a basic outline or structure in my mind to follow for the flashcards, and I am going to share it with you. Now this structure can be altered in your own way for your client, because obviously we need to look at individual differences of our clients, of everyone around us. So let's start with kitchen flashcards. So we have multiple flashcards here related to kitchen. These are the products or items that you may find in a kitchen. So one of the common mistakes that we do as a therapist or as a trainer is that we show a completely new card to the kid and we are like, what is this? What is this? Now imagine you are in a new setting with a new trainer. Maybe it's neither a new setting or a new trainer, but a completely new set of cards. So basically your course or your syllabus is new and your trainer asks you to talk about the topic. Now even if you know the topic well, high chances that you might get nervous or shy, or maybe you will completely stay silent or wait for someone else to speak. Similar happens in this scenario. In many settings, I have noticed that when a therapist starts the session, he or she simply shows the card and asks the child, what is this? Tell me what is this? So most likely they get response like 0 out of 10, or maybe 2 to 3 out of 10. The response rate is not much higher, and their feedback is the child is not cooperative, he's not responsive. In those settings, my first question always is this the first time the child is seeing the cards? If yes, we should not be putting any demand or pressure on the child to answer or to tell us about what the card shows. Now there are some exceptions where you know that even if the child is seeing the cards for the first time, he or she knows this domain. So even in that scenario, I would still suggest not to put the child on spot to answer without introducing the cards by yourself first. Until unless you want to collect the baseline data from the client on that domain. Now for the first session with a new set of cards, always have a bit more energy than usual. Be extra energetic and enthusiastic in front of the child, like you are showing something new, you are showing something exciting to the child. This will create excitedness and curiosity for the child as well. So no need to start with a firm or strict commands like tell me what is this. You have to answer. So instead of that, start with a motivating, energetic, because we don't need to stress the child. We want the child to understand, to respond and to express. So what are we doing with the flashcard? We are working on the receptive and expressive language of the child. Receptive language is basically the information that he is getting, he is receiving, and expressive language would be the information that he is showing or expressing. Plus with the flashcards we can also work on one word, two word formation, or even with the sentence formation. Other than that, flashcards also help with sitting span, tolerance, weight compliance and joint attention too. Plus the pictures on the card, they help in visualization and enhances imagination along with the generalization and maintenance in real life environment too. So I would also suggest to use the flashcards that have real object pictures on it instead of the cartoon, animated or drawn images, because that makes it easy for the child to relate it to their real environment. So with a flashcard, in the start you can simply show the cards, you can simply flash the cards to the child. For example, okay, so we have these flashcards related to kitchen category. What you are going to do is, okay, we can have a random name like Joe. So what we are supposed to do, we can start with, "Hi Joe, how are you? Look, what do I have? I have kitchen flashcards." What are these? Kitchen flashcards. So we will learn about items in the kitchen. What is this? It's a jug. Jug, fridge, fork, glass. So you can move it like you can move it in a slow speed or in a fast speed as per the child. You can simply be like plate, spoon, blender. So what I am doing here is I am using short sentences. Maybe I can say it's a blender, or I can simply say blender. To use short and easy commands to only give the idea about the object here, instead of complicating it or confusing the child. Now that I have shown him all the cards, or maybe as per my goal or objective for that day, maybe I have shown him 10 cards. So while I am telling or labeling the card in front of the child, I can do one more thing. I can tell him oven, and then I will wait 3 to 5 seconds to see if the child is imitating what I am saying. Like if I am saying oven and he is also saying oven, so that means he is imitating me. So I can wait for 3 to 5 seconds for that. But even if he is not imitating, even then we can move towards the next, because we are just starting with the card. We are just giving the idea or understanding of what's on the card. We can also work on imitation after this step. So if the child is imitating the card, imitating the word you are saying, do appreciate and acknowledge. But even if they don't imitate, that's okay. And yes, if there are 2 words on the card, we can skip them for the beginning. We can keep those cards for later. We can have introduction with a 1-word flashcard at first. So once you have labeled the card in front of the child, I will suggest to do the next step within the same session if possible, because in that case the child's memory would be fresh and active. So now go to the next part, which is asking the child. Now if the child is non-vocal or a bit reluctant to say it by himself, to label it by himself, you can skip this part. But let me tell you about this one, and then we will move towards the other steps that we can do in case if the child is reluctant to label, to speak out, or to respond. Then we can follow the other steps. First of all, let's cover this one. So once you have given him the information, once you have told him, once you have labeled the cards for him, it's time to ask the child. So now show the cards to the child and ask, what is this? Okay, so for example, I'm starting with these 6 cards with the child. So in my mind or on the table, I will have 3 categories for me. For example, I am asking, what is this? The child says glass. So that means he knows what is this, and he is answering confidently. I would put it in 1 category, which is confidently knows. Then I will ask, what is this? And the child just looks at me with confusion and asking for help. And then I said, and then the child says fork. What I'm doing is I'm giving verbal prompt. So this means this one is in the knowing category, but not confidently. I would have it in the second one. Now I ask, what is this? And the child waits, just looks at me, and I can guess that the child don't know what this is. So I will wait 3 to 5 seconds. The child does not say any word. I would put this card in the category of don't know. So on the table, I will categorize the card in 3 categories: knows confidently, knows, and don't know. Now the one that the child knows confidently, for example, these are the 2 cards that the child responded well. So for these cards, for the first category that the child knows very well, what I will do is take the data for these for the next 3 to 5 sessions, and I will see if the child is responding 80% or more to these cards consecutively in 3 to 5 sessions. So if the child responded, labeled these well for the next 3 sessions even, so what I would do is I will mark these cards as mastered. I would say that the child has mastered saying jug to the jug flashcard, and he has mastered saying glass to the glass flashcard. And then I will move these cards toward the weekly or monthly maintenance. Basically, for the flashcards that the child has mastered, I will ask those cards again. I will ask the child to label those cards again once in a week or maybe in a month. So these cards will be mastered. Now for the flashcards that the child knows but not too well, for example, that's tray and fork. So what I will do, I will give him verbal prompts, and within sessions, if the child start labeling it by himself and he start labeling it independently, then without any prompting, I will again move these cards toward the mastered category, and I will take data for these in the next sessions. And if the child is responding well to these after giving some promptings, after reducing the prompting, then these will be on weekly or monthly maintenance as well. And for the don't know category, so I will start with labeling it again to the child. Fridge, say fridge. So I will work more on the ones that the child don't know, and maybe after a few sessions, after a few prompting, the don't know category will be moved towards the knows, and then knows confidently, and again these can be mastered. So for the first part, you showed and labeled the cards to the child. For the second part, you asked the child to label the cards for you. However, if the child is non-vocal, or if he or she is showing low compliance, or maybe a completely new set is overwhelming for the child, then instead of asking the child to label it right away, you can do this step instead. So you can start with high preference activity. You can start with something that the child will probably respond, is more likely to respond. For example, you can ask the child to point or touch the card. So you can ask, touch the fridge, or point at the fridge. And for this, you can also give physical prompting to the child. You can hold the child's hand from the elbow. You can move it and touch. So he will know that whenever the word touch is being said, I am supposed to touch the card. So what you are doing is basically you are starting with a high preference activity. The child don't have to say it or know it. He simply have to make a movement. So there are more chances that he will respond to this instruction. You can simply say, touch the fridge. Good job touching the fridge. Or other than that, what you can do is you can even start with the most basic activity. You can put the card on the table and you can ask the child to give it to you. You can say, give me fridge. And you can also provide physical prompting to the child and get the task done. Give me fridge. So what he has to do is simply move it a little bit higher. There are chances that he will respond more to this task. And after maybe moving it, you can ask to touch it, point it, and then you can move towards labeling the card. So this way behavior momentum can be built after responding to a high preferred activity like touching, pointing, or giving you the flashcards. The child may also respond to labeling the flashcard, which might be a low preference activity for the child before. Also for generalization, you can try this thing that instead of only one card, you can put 2 different cards or 3 different cards on the table, and you can ask the child to give one of them. Like if you have placed fridge, fork and tray on the table, you can ask the child to give you fridge. So this way he will understand how to discriminate these cards. But this can be a later step. Now this can be done for one word object. Now coming towards the 2-word formation, for that you can also try 2 sets of flashcards. For example, we have kitchen flashcards here, and then we have numbers flashcard. What we can do is we can take some numbers. So for example, we have taken the number flashcard 2 and 3. The child knows what 2 is. So what you can do is take a number flashcard, or you can also take colors flashcards or any adjectives flashcards, and you can go on like. So the child knows how to label 2. The child knows how to label spoon. Now you can put both the cards on the table and you can point to the cards one by one like 2 spoon, 2 spoon. So the child is responding to 2 different cards, but he is already responding in 2 words. He is saying those simultaneously, 2 spoon. So now you will work on reducing the speed between these 2 responses like 2 spoon, 2 spoon, 2 spoon. So by this way the child is learning to respond in multiple words, in 2 words. You can also use colors flashcard, like you can say silver spoon, or it can be blue spoon, black spoon. So you are using 2 words. Now moving towards the sentence formation. For that you can use action flashcards, routine flashcards like he is studying, she is reading, I wake up. So these are like for the 3 words for a sentence formation. Or you can also use sight words in any language that the child understand. You can use the sight words like you can put 3 cards. This is spoon. So basically you are using 3 flashcards. The child is responding to 3 flashcards, but he is learning to respond in the form of a sentence now. So this way you can also work on the 1 word, 2 word formation or sentence formation for the child, and then try to generalizing it. Like it does not have to be within the flashcards only. Try to utilize the learnings from the flashcards in real life scenarios. Maybe you can walk with a child around the room, around a park, around any environment, any scenario, and you can ask the child to label the object around. So maybe, for example, you can take the child to the kitchen, and for generalization, one more thing can be done. So you can have, for example, you have these 2 flashcards, fork and jug. What you can do is, you can take a real jug and a real fork with you. Within the session, you can put a jug on the table and you can give him these 2 flashcards. You can ask him, what is this? Give me the card for this. So if the child says this is a jug, or if he or she gives you this card, which means he is learning to generalize the object with his real life environment, with the objects around him. That's also helpful for generalization and for maintenance. Don't just stop the cards right away if the child already knows them. Take data for the next 3 to 5 sessions, and after that keep taking the data once in a week or once in a month for those cards that the child has mastered already. Now about the prompting, which is providing assistance or cues. So it can be full physical, it can be partial physical, it can be gestural, it can be verbal or positional. For example, you ask the child to touch the card, he did not touch the card, you will hold his hand and move it. So if you are giving full physical prompting and the child is not willingly moving his hand by himself, that would be full physical prompting or physical prompting. But if you are only touching his hand, or if you are only giving him a little assistance, that would be partial physical prompting. If you give instructions like touch jug, so basically you are providing any gesture, you are giving gesture prompting. And if you are moving the card, for example, you ask the child to give you jug from this, you place it like this and you say, give me jug, give me jug. So you are providing positional prompting, you are letting the child know by the position about the correct answer. So while taking data on the data sheets, on your data sheets, you can mention the prompting level like P for physical prompting, P.P for partial physical, GP for gestural prompting, VP for verbal prompting, and so on. You can write it in the short form for your own. or sometimes the prompting level are mentioned within the sheet, so you can simply mark on the prompt that you provided. And you can, and for the correct and incorrect responses, you can use plus and minus sign. You can use Y for yes and no, and N for no. Or for the incorrect answer, you can simply have plus, plus, plus for 3 correct responses. You can add minus for the incorrect response, and then you can take percentage by calculating the positive signs on the data sheets. So that's how basically you can take data along with conducting the activity. So that's how you can introduce the flashcards, introduce labeling, pointing, touching. That's how you can work on the imitation, on the labeling, on the tacting skills of the child. And you can also work on mending skills by this, like maybe if there's a card for water, for sentence formation or for even mending, you can teach the child to request like I want water, I want glass, I want food. So something like that. So using these flashcards, you're basically working on receptive skills, on expressive skills, you are working on tacting and mending, and you're also working on communication, on one word, two word or sentence form. So to summarize today's video, we can say that flashcards can be used effectively for expressive language, receptive language, word and sentence formation, tacting, mending, echoic and introverbal skills. And how we can use flashcards effectively is we can have energetic introduction, label it by ourselves, and then ask the child to label or point, touch or hand over the card. The cards can be divided into 3 categories, which is knows fully, knows with prompting, and don't know. And we can then work on moving the don't know category towards the knows fully. To mark the cards as mastered, we need to have 80% or more response in 3 to 5 sessions consecutively. And after the cards have been mastered, we can move it towards the weekly or monthly maintenance, and we can have generalization by relating the cards with the real objects or by showing some related educational videos. So if the child is good at labeling, we can get the result on 30 to 50 cards for 1 words. And after the child has memorized at least 30 to 50 cards, we can move towards 2 words formation. And once he knows 2 word formation with 20 to 30 cards, we can move towards sentence formation. And after 20 and onwards, we can work on generalization and maintenance more. So after using the flashcards, I can confidently say that flashcards are one of the most useful and efficient way to help the child understand the concepts about different objects. Hope you liked today's video. Thank you very much for watching.